We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. A race against the clock for LGBTQ British military veterans. A leading charity warns that at least 1,000 former service members risk missing out on a government compensation plan designed to make amends for the military's historic gay ban.
A night of massive surprises and double triumphs at the British LGBT Awards in London. The legendary Culture Club frontman, Boy George, walked away with the night's highest honor, and the pop icon says he was left completely emotional by the unexpected tribute.
A massive new international study shows public opinion on LGBTQ+ rights may finally be steadying after years of intense political polarization. The newly released 2026 Ipsos Pride report checked the pulse of 26 countries, and the data reveals some deep divisions, but also a foundational baseline of support.
When it comes to rainbow crosswalks, Fort Lauderdale is running circles around fascist Republicans.
A powerful call for inclusion inside the nation's oldest Catholic university. Hundreds of LGBTQ+ Catholics, clergy, and allies gathered at Georgetown University over the weekend for the Outreach 2026 conference, where a top church official addressed the wounds of our past.
All this important LGBTQ+ news and a whole lot more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
That's right, Kevin. It is Wednesday, June 24th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our magazine and events, television news, and talk and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this very table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Edward Otto Zelke, an accomplished brand influencer and marketing leader with a dynamic background in financial services and travel marketing. Currently, Edward serves as a director of marketing and sponsorship for the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. He also serves on the Gala Chorus's communications committee. Edward, so I'm still vibrating from Invincible, okay? I've got to mention it just one last time.
Please.
Me and John talked so much about it on Monday, but we were both so moved, and just, you know, the energy that the Gay Men's Chorus and everyone involved put into that evening was felt throughout that theater and beyond. And I just have to say congratulations congratulations to you, to Gabe, to, you know, to everyone that it was involved in making that happen. We can feel, we can feel it, okay, from the audience. I mean, literally everybody walked away with such a special gift that you gave us. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And, you know, I'm so thrilled that everybody just really was so receptive to this. You know, going into this, you're not quite sure how people will react to like a requiem. And it's a very sensitive topic in terms of the pulse. And, you know, when we made sure that we, you know, talked to Victims First, who is there, that advocates for the survivors and for the families, just making sure that we're, you know, being respectful in terms of, you know, how to pronounce their names and if we're getting their stories right. And, you know, even with the composition itself, you know, like letting them understand what the lyrics are and in terms of how it's interpreted, everything just went so wonderfully. And I was just so happy that it was, you know, it was one of our top, I think it was the top selling concert.
Are you serious?
That we've ever had in
It
history.
was packed in there though, kids.
I know.
Packed,
I
like
turned
all
around
4
and
floors.
I was like, wow, this is incredible. And the community showed up. So thanks to all of you for helping to promote and bringing the community into this, because that's really what we needed for them to see. And just to amplify just, you know, the tragedy that happened 10 years ago and bring their names back to light.
Yeah.
You know, it was so moving. But now we're moving on to season 17.
Yes, okay. Yes. So last year, the Gay Men's Chorus, folks at home, you know, I go to a lot of galas. So does John Hayden, right? And I had made the Chic and Unique Ball the best gala of 2025, right? You laugh, but I'm saying, like, you know, Cal Gajraj is on point with this also, telling me, right? Yeah. We have said it. We have said this was the best gala. I don't know how you're going to come back from that and make it better, but I know if anybody can do it, it's going to be you folks. And you are already talking about the gala that's coming up in October,
yes,
right?
The pressure's on. I know.
Man.
I think, how can we top ourselves? But get ready to unleash your inner creative creature of style, because the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida invites you to return to the Seminole Hardrock Hotel and Casino for the Chic and Unique Ball, with its theme, Wild Elegance.
Woohoo!
This is South Florida's ultimate runway party where high fashion meets fierce safari and untamed glamour. And on Saturday, October 24th, dust off your boldest prints and don your sharpest looks for the night of spectacular music, dance, and community pride. Tickets sell fast, so make sure you visit gmcsf.org or thechicanduniqueball.com and let your style run wild. I'm so excited for this theme. I mean, it's just a jungle theme type of, you know, experience. And, you know, you'll get to get your little wild passion, you know, type of thing, you know, roar of the jungle type of feel. And it marries well with some of the programming that we're doing. We're bringing back for season 17, Disney Pride in Concert, which was a really highlight for us 4 years ago too. But this ball, you know, is our annual fundraiser, and it's going to be at Seminole Hardrock, and tickets begin at $300. But our programming is really, really tight. You know, we get in there with the VIP reception for like a half hour, and then we go into cocktails with the general public. The programming is about an hour, and we're done, and then you get to party.
And then it's a party.
I like that.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful because, you know, the hosts, Seminole Hardrock, I mean, they help us with so much in terms of decor and the style.
Listen, Eric Eldridge is already foaming at the mouth as to what he's going to put together and help make that even more elaborate than it was last year. And, you know, us in our community, we love a theme, don't we, boys? I mean, we love a theme.
Animal print?
So when I saw the flyer to this, I thought like something kind of Garden of Eden meets Lion King.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was at. You know what I mean? I mean,
sounds sexy.
and throw some bedazzling on there, and then we just made a game.
It's
you know?
it's just very interpretive. You know, if you're trying to have a party in the middle of the jungle, you know, what would that kind of look like? You know, and the foliage, you know, so very Adam and Eve. You know, it could be any era. But it's that type of feel.
I was just thinking, like, with that theme, like, and it's a gala, like, it's supposed to be formal, like, how little can you get away with wearing? Like,
well,
you know,
this is an LGBTQ plus fundraiser.
Okay.
So you definitely
you don't have to be very covered.
I
like,
mean,
you
have to be respectfully covered. But,
Trini, let me put it this way. When they announced it at the concert on Friday night, they had 2 models, neither of whom
They're just
were
painted.
they were painted.
Yes.
They were there.
And that would be
yeah.
acceptable to go that way.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. in
Yes,
fact,
listen, call Avi
Okay.
Ram. He could do it for us.
Avi will do
does
it.
incredible.
Avi does.
Avi does
Yeah.
body painting on folks,
He was
and I
the
think
one
he
that
was the one
he
who
was
did
the
it,
one
right?
that did the models for
Oh,
that night. He'll
okay.
probably be doing the models that night as
Good.
well. So we're really
Okay.
I'm saying we
Bet,
could call him
bet.
together and try to get a 2-for-1. I'm just saying, Trini, let's do it. I love me some Avi Ram. And mark your calendars, folks, because it's going to be a time, and you know that the tickets will sell out beforehand, all right? Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida Chic and Unique Ball on October 24th. And make sure that you follow the Gay Men's Chorus on all social media outlets so you can know the rest of their ideas for their next season, all right? I got a hint for you. Share. Share.
Yes, that's right. It's definitely
Share. Let's welcome back to the table my boo, Trinidaddy. He's a violinist and pianist with the Miami City Ballet and is the program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. Welcome back to the table, Trini. I know that you've got some exciting stuff about your season over there at the Seminole Players, right?
Yes, we are doing
up?
In the Heights, Lin-Manuel Miranda's first Tony Award-winning musical. I definitely like it better than Hamilton. I know people are like huge Hamilton fans, but
Yes.
I'm much more of an In the Heights fan.
Me too.
Because that's all of this Latino pride. The music is so infectious,
Yep.
and we have all of these great dancers that are part of this. We have a
Wow.
whole new choreography way of doing it. I music directed it before in 2018, and so now we're kind of revamping it 2.0 for this year. And I think the inspiration really was from Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. And when he was just out there with all the different flags coming out, there's one song called Carnaval del Barrio that's in there where we have all the different Latinos and we get the crowd involved within it, like Boricua, you know. like,
that.
it's so great. And the production is fantastic. I mean, it's technically a community theater, but this is probably one of the best shows that we've ever put on so far in the production team. So I hope everybody comes out to the Seminole Theater. It's down in Homestead. It's a little bit of a drive.
Doesn't matter. There's
You
great
know?
restaurants around the way. You can go see In the Heights and go have some nice dinner and then
They have
venture
some
back.
great restaurants around there. It's free parking. And the ticket prices are pretty low. I think it's $31, you know,
That's
which
awesome.
is way lower than most theater companies
Yeah.
and what you're going to get for that.
100%.
So you can go to seminoletheater.org and find your information there. The tickets are 17th, 18th, and 19th of July, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I think we're going to open the second weekend as well. We're going to decide this week whether we do that. So if you go to Seminole Theater, which is the British spelling, the TRE, you know, the high class theater spelling, .org, you can find the show dates, which are right now, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, and hopefully the following weekend if you can't make it that weekend. So I hope to see you all there.
I mean, and that is his best play. Like, not, you know, again, I know that I'm a little biased being Latina, but like, you know, that was when we first met Lin-Manuel. That's when he started like just really taking the world by storm, right? That's when we all heard the rapping Latino kind of swag that he kind of invented and made his own. Like, you know, In the Heights from beginning to end, you are in it.
And
You are
even if
in
you're
it.
not Hispanic.
Oh, for
because,
sure.
You know, I'm not Hispanic, but my family came to this country through New York. And every time you see the abuela, you know, all of us living in a one-bedroom apartment, and like, I mean, it brings back so many of my childhood memories, and it looks like my, you know, photo album. And so many people can relate to being an immigrant somehow coming in here and living in a multi-generational house.
100%.
And, you know, and there's, you know, dealing with the death and the different cultures and all of that stuff. I mean, it's so beautiful and it's so fun and it's such a celebration of life. And, you know, who doesn't need that now?
Oh, 100%. We look forward to seeing you at In the Heights over at the Seminole Theater. Get your tickets today at Seminole Theater spelled British.org. All right. And Trini, we are so happy to have you back at the table here at Queer News Tonight.
Thank you.
Let's welcome my bestie anchor, John Hayden, back to the table, a journalist for 31 years. Yes, that's not a typo. 31 years.
He's old.
He now focuses on hyper-local reporting covering LGBTQ plus issues, Wilton Manors, Lauderdale by the Sea, Fort Lauderdale, and Oakland Park. You can see all his reports at Greater Wilton Manors on YouTube and Facebook, and make sure that you follow him on all social media outlets. So, John, two of your favorite things are actually coming together. Wow, your dreams are coming true. What's happening now?
Oh my gosh, yes! Yes! Show tunes and drinking. Showtune Sundays debuts at Lit Bar in Wilton Manor this Sunday at 7. That gives you plenty of time to recover from Sunday Fun Day to enjoy Sunday Fun Night. The evening is hosted by Ralphie, the singing bartender. He's performed on Broadway and knows a thing or two about Showtune.
Hey everybody, John Hayden at Lit on Wilton Drive, and I've got Ralphie, no, you're not a bartender, you're the singing bartender.
Yes.
And you're starting a new show, Sunday afternoon Showtunes.
Good morning,
It's video-centric, with live performance of me, and I'll be hosting. I have my Britney mic or Madonna mic, depending on your era.
Every word is true.
But if I could do a show that Ralphie would enjoy in his soul, it would be female power ballads.
Don't forget me, I beg, I'll remember you say.
All right, well, it debuts on Sunday, that's the 28th of June, and then every Sunday after that, through at least the summer. Well into. Ralphie, come say hi to him, order a drink, sing along, sing a few bars with him.
7 to 11 p.m. is the event,
Yeah.
and then we'll third act karaoke after.
All right, sounds like my Sunday night is set, as long as I can stay coherent all the way till Sunday night. See you guys.
Yeah, I can tell you that's not a guarantee. I loved hanging out with Ralphie, though. He has got pipes and personality for days. You can order food from the Courtyard Cafe next door, and it will be brought to you. You wash it down with Broadway-inspired cocktails like the Defying Gravity Martini or the Hamilton Highball. And yeah, he was just great. And Faye, he's getting into bed with you.
Yes, I look forward to having Ralphie in bed. I mean, I want to know all about him, right? So he's a bartender and he sings. Is he singing while he's making drinks, right? Does he wear pants while he's making these drinks? Is that the reason why he's hiding behind the bar?
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, like, he's into the women-centric songs. Is he also into the boy songs? Like, I can't wait to ask him everything.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a minute 23 with him right there. I mean, you're going to get to have him and ask him all these great questions.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it.
He is, and
It's gonna be a good time.
He's great. He really is. Love
I'm
him.
so glad that, that the bars are doing these sing-alongs. Like I remember in New York, just going to some of these, and it was just such a wonderful feeling, like, in camaraderie of people that knew these songs and just kind of sang along, and it was just it was wonderful. And I'm so glad that South Florida is finally starting to do this more often. The chorus does it once in a while just as a fundraiser, but I kind of miss that once a week type of thing, like Musical Mondays or something like that.
100%. 100%. Like in the Village in New York, across the street from Stonewall, Monster was. You guys know Monster? It still exists today, and it's a piano bar. You would love it. And if you go in there and you can sing or you can't sing, listen, I want to hear this song or I'm working on this show. Let's, and people will just come around that piano.
It's community. That restaurant, I was going to say, that bar, Monster. When I lived in New York City, a lot of the locals will go there, so you build a sense of community. It's a place to go and relax after work. It's just a wonderful community building activity. I love sing-along, so nice to see it.
And that's community building that we can do at Lit Bar with Ralphie.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Lit Bar on Sunday evening, 7 p.m. with Ralphie, the singing bartender. Let's welcome anchor Kevin Lee back to the table. He's a 3-time #1 best-selling author, transformational speaker, and intuitive life coach. This native Texan is on a mission to help you find your life purpose, spiritual fulfillment, and true happiness. Kevin Lee, welcome back to the show.
Good to see you, honey bunny.
Have you ever met somebody that you have said, okay, I need to go take a breath before I can help you fully?
I haven't had a celebrity client yet, but I've had some amazing clients. But I can tell you, I was asked, very recently, I was asked to speak on that Los Angeles Tribune stage. That was a little bit of a moment. So I actually got to speak with the producer of that event. And she had never met me before. I didn't know who she was, but I knew she was asking me to come out on stage. And I thought, you know what? If I do nothing else, I'm going to tell my stories. I'm just going to share from my heart. And I warned her and I said, you know what? I'm going to tell you some things probably today that are going to make you cry. So you better have some tissue. And she goes, well, I'm a little difficult. You can't make me cry. And I said, well, we'll see about that. So it didn't take but about 5 minutes. I had her in tears and I said, I told you, you might need some, you got tissue somewhere offset somewhere. And but it was really interesting because it just brought me back to the basics of, look, just talk from your heart.
Yep.
And I connected, I shared my traumas that I've kind of triumphed over. And I'm learning that really does it's just heart service. It's just serving my audience, my community that needs me. So that was a special moment for me recently.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome. Good to be back with you.
We adore you and we love having you here at the table at Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Faye What? She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspot's Happening Out's The Faye What Show, and your lead anchor on Queer News Tonight. Faye What? Faye, FlockFest has the beach party coming up on July 11th. Tell us what's happening out.
Yes, FlockFest is turning 11 on July 11th. And trust me, this beach party is going to be flamingo level fabulous. All right, so join the whole entire crew and everybody that you know that's hot because they're going to be there July 11th on Fort Lauderdale Beach as FlockFest celebrates 11 years of fun, community, and giving back. A huge shout out to the incredible folks over there at FlockFest that make it happen. Steven, Kevin, Melba, Dan, John, Elon, Corey, Eddie, Jason, all of you people. And can we talk about the DJ? DJ Jace M, all right? You know him. I adore him. He is incredible. He's bringing the beats that will keep the beach bouncing all weekend long. So for just $30, you get a badass beach party, all right? But, you know, you got to go VIP because VIP beach day ticket includes drinks, food vouchers, exclusive swag, and access to the famous flamingo floats and VIP access to Splash Sunday the following day. All right. So sun, sand, music, community, and a whole lot of pink flamingos, like a lot of them. All right. What more can you ask for? All right. Get your tickets now at flockfestevents.org/events. So they've been having this beach party for 11 years, man. And 11 years, it grows more and more. Yep. And I got to host it a couple of years back and incredible. Like to see all those pink flamingos. First of all, God, I mean, I hope they have a machine to fill up all those flamingos because you walk in and you automatically see hundreds of pink flamingos that you're able to grab one and take on over to the ocean. And then in the ocean, there are just hundreds of pink flamingos filled by hot men. All right. There'll be like a girl or two in there, but you know what I mean? It's a fun time.
Well, I think our friend Kevin, they're all the flamingos are just blown up manually. He starts like at 6 in the morning. Just
he started yesterday.
Yes. So you're doing God's work, Kevin.
They have expert blowers.
Oh my.
They have blowers that know what they're doing, you know. I mean, but you know, everybody knows FlockFest. FlockFest helps other events and other organizations in need throughout the year. Yep. But they do these ticket item events to be able to do so, you know, and they do it in such a big way while also still throwing these splash pool parties that are incredible. I just went to one on Sunday that was just amazing. It was like 400 hot boys in the pool and me.
I love it.
I didn't get in the pool because I was afraid to get pregnant, but it was a good time. So I look forward to see everybody at our FlockFest beach party because it's going to be awesome. Get your tickets now. I'm Faye What, and let's queer up the world view. Time running out as 1,000 UK veterans could miss gay ban compensation. The charity, Fighting with Pride, is sounding the alarm, warning that hundreds of aging LGBTQ plus veterans could miss the deadline for the UK's financial recognition plan. The fund was established to compensate former personnel who were fired, stripped of medals, or forced out under the military's pre-2000 ban on queer service members. With the application window set to close this December, advocates say a staggering number of eligible veterans have yet to step forward. Organizers explain that the brutal, invasive interrogations and court martials many face left them deeply traumatized. As a result, many completely severed ties with both military and LGBTQ plus networks, leaving them isolated and entirely unaware that compensation exists. The Ministry of Defense says it is working with veteran organizations to locate those affected. Activists are using the public to help spread the word before time officially runs out. Wow. Imagine serving your country, getting kicked out for being gay, and then not even hearing there's compensation waiting for you.
Yeah.
That's not bureaucracy. That's a sequel to the injustice that they've already endured. Somebody get those veterans a phone call and a deadline extension because they have earned both outright, 100%.
Absolutely. I think the biggest takeaway, dude, did we have that in America?
We had the band.
Something?
We had the band.
We had the band. Do we have it? Like, we need
Oh,
to
no.
adopt that. I mean,
Oh,
maybe
no.
This administration probably won't do anything like that because they're actively still trying to kick them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that I've heard of this, and I thought, wow, that's pretty progressive and amazing that they're willing to compensate all this trauma to the people that came to serve their country.
Yeah.
Like,
And even the colonizers are doing that, right? And
Yeah.
not us, right?
The first guy I went out with was in the military. And I remember this was before gay marriage and all that stuff. And, and I remember, I mean, we're all probably old enough at this table to, lived in that era to understand like what it was like. And if you had a friend who was in the service, like, I mean, I used to think about that and I'm like, gosh, I
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. And I like this guy a lot too. And I was like, I don't know if like I can even be around you, or like, I used to say, I understand if like I can't, be close to you or something like that. And the fact that we had to live like that was just crazy.
I'm Edward Otto Zelke, and let's queer up entertainment. Boy George is honored with Lifetime Achievement Award. Pop icon Boy George enjoyed a double victory at this year's British LGBT Awards in London, taking home both Music Artist of the Year and prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award. The 64-year-old singer was visibly moved when close friend and legendary French fashion designer Jean-Paul Gaultier took the stage to present him with the surprise honor. Organizers praised Boy George's profound contribution to British musical culture, noting how he fearlessly shattered gender and style stereotypes on television in the early 1980s when LGBTQ+ visibility faced intense social taboos. On a highly competitive night, the Karma Chameleon singer also beat out contemporary pop heavyweights like Charli XCX and Doja Cat for the top music artist title. Speaking to the BBC after the show, an emotional Boy George admitted the career-spanning honor was a genuine surprise, describing the room's overwhelmingly love as incredibly beautiful. I'm so happy to see an icon like Boy George being honored.
Yeah.
I remember growing up in the 80s and listening to his music.
Yeah.
Karma Chameleon, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? All of these songs that just resonate with me. And I remember his style, like being just so different and being so authentic.
Right. So androgynous.
I was just so attracted. I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And just finally, just to, be recognized after all of the contributions. I remember he even there was a musical that he also created and produced in the early 2000s called Taboo. And I feel like a lot of people sometimes get overlooked. So I'm just so glad that Boy George was honored.
I can't believe he's still alive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Straight up, okay? We've lost the George Michaels of the world.
Yeah.
We've lost so many people, right?
Yeah.
And he's still kicking,
Yeah.
We had him here a couple of years ago for what, John?
He was playing at
Pride Fort Lauderdale, was it?
yes, Pride Fort Lauderdale when it was down on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes. I mean, when we had him here, we were all like, oh my God, wow, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Yeah.
It's freaking Boy George, And something that really, something that just popped up when you were speaking, Edward, is like, my mom is super anti-gay. We have a really rough relationship. Yet I remember growing up and she had his poster on the wall. You know what I mean? No, not all. Yeah. For her, it was that's as, okay, that's as androgynous as she went. You know what I mean? That's as like, woo, So I just remember having a conversation with her after and going, you had Boy George on the wall. Like, why is this conversation hard to have? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It probably was like the first taste to many, of anything gay, Boy George and his androgynous.
His music just spanned, many different types of people, obviously in the 80s. And you didn't even know that, you kind of had a sense of maybe the sexual preferences, but, it was just different. And I think people just really clicked with the music, and it was just transparent for anybody to listen to.
And there was like a subversive gay theme because none of those artists were really out as gay.
Right.
Oh,
so it was like, if you were gay, you're like, something about this person is really interesting. Like it's those little context clues there that the gay community like picked up on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you kind of look to them, and I remember the first time too, like Karma Chameleon was like, no, it's Karma Chameleon, you know? Like nobody says Karma.
Yeah.
You know, but his style was so cool. And back in those days, I remember George Michael, like I still wear my cross earring just because of those 80s icons.
Wow.
You know, if you wear it in the left ear, you're gay.
I remember all of those things too.
You know,
We used to say that.
Getting back to a point you brought up, how he needs the honors, or you know, he deserves the honors. I think he was also nominated for an Oscar in the '90s for The Crying Game for original song.
For the song.
I believe he was nominated for that. But you know, the colors are like his dream, red, gold, and green. And frankly, it's a miracle he was able to break his music out from the Church of the Poison Mine.
Oh,
That was
beautiful.
So
feel that one
so
coming.
stupid. Folks, Boy George walks so half the pop stars playing with gender today could run. Okay, in the 80s, he was serving eyeliner and serving dresses and doing all this kind of stuff that, like, you know, with authenticity.
Yeah.
Without people
He was
putting him in a box
unapologetic.
because people didn't know where to put him.
He was unapologetic about it. He shattered the stereotypes.
One last thing. He just did a DJ set at Stonewall Inn in New York.
Sweet.
Just
Seriously?
freaking
Oh, wow.
cuz on
Sweet.
Friday. Just cuz. You imagine walking in to go have a drink and so you see Boy George behind the decks? I mean, like, come on. Like, that's
awesome.
an achievement right there.
That is.
I'm Trinidadian. Let's queer up the worldview. Plateau after the pushback as global LGBT support stabilizes. The 2026 Ipsos Pride report indicates that the sharp decline in LGBTQ plus public acceptance seen during recent corporate and political pushbacks has leveled off, giving way to a period of stabilization. The global study, tracking nearly 20,000 adults, shows that foundational support remains robust. 66% of respondents back marriage equality or legal recognition, anchored by heavy approval in the Netherlands, Spain, and Sweden. However, sharp cultural divides persist. Support for brands actively promoting LGBTQ plus equality flattened at 42%, a major drop from nearly half of the public 5 years ago. Furthermore, policy issues surrounding transgender individuals continue to see the most intense resistance. Global support for trans athletes competing based on gender identity dropped to just 22% this year, down from 32% in 2021. Experts say while basic legal protections remain stable, cultural consensus remains highly fragmented. Well, I think I'm glad that it's plateauing in other countries. I think in this country we're the opposite direction because of the administration we have. And it's unfortunate because I'm on all the conservative chats. You know, like
You love that stuff.
I don't love it, but I feel like that's
it's your
the
duty.
warrior.
It's your
my
duty.
duty to
It's
be
your
there
duty.
to combat
Yes.
it. You know.
Yeah.
And so every time that there's some kind of fumble going on in the administration, it's run a drag story, run a trans story. You know, and if there's one trans person that got into some trouble, you know, they're going to take that picture and they're going to run that story 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, for the rest of the week.
Yep. And they're going to have bots do the same thing.
Yeah, and I have people that are mildly conservative, well, kind of, you know, mildly conservative that talk to me about how they feel about trans and drag and all that stuff. And I can tell they're just looking at it from the TV. They don't know any trans person. They don't go to drag shows or anything like that. So I have to tell them, I'm like, you think that they're going into the school, like drag queens are going into schools to like educate your children? I was like, that's not happening. And I said, I really need you to prove this to yourself. Go ask any teacher if they have any trans drag people or whatever coming into that, you know.
Infiltrating.
Yeah, like it's just not happening. It's just you're looking at these stories, you know. And so that's really contributing to that. But I also did want to bring up one other point, is that I do think that our community does have a tendency to, like, once you get a little win here, you start pushing it over the edge. And I think that there is a formula that wherever the public is at, you can't go this much further in front of it or else you get the pendulum backlash, you know? And I think the best example was gay marriage. I think we just did that so perfectly to change public opinion. We didn't get in people's face and say, like, you're just a nasty bigot for this, you know? We showed stories of two people who love each other and we're like, how could this be wrong, you know? And we try to bring people in instead of getting so opposed this way. And I really hope that in the next few years, especially with this contentious administration and what Trump does, I do think that conservatives are like, they're seeing how just pugilistic they are, and that they'll appreciate the gay people, the people that are on the opposite side of the aisle, actually really extending an olive branch and say, hey, we're your brothers and sisters too.
Good word, pugilistic. What was that?
Pugilistic.
I love that. That was a good word, John. Anything?
I agree that it's nice to see that we're sort of staunching the bleeding. And just there's an article today. Maybe it was yesterday. Trump was invited to the Republican Senate luncheon, and he got into a shouting match with a senator from Louisiana. So the cracks are showing. So look for a lot of trans and drag queen stories coming up in your feed.
For 100%. Well, the good news is that support didn't fall off a cliff, right? The bad news, we've apparently entered the era of I support you, but not too loudly. All right. So equality isn't a trend. If your allyship expires when it's politically inconvenient, it was never allyship to begin with. And we've got to be aware of that,
Hey, everyone, I'm John Hayden, and let's queer up Florida and South Florida. Fort Lauderdale's quest for diversity and inclusion isn't ending just because Republicans want it to. This weekend, city leaders unveiled their response to DeSantis' attempts at rainbow erasure.
Hey everybody, John Hayden at Sebastian Street Plaza for the dedication of the Circle of Love.
We are so thankful that we are here today to not only say that we are going to never be erased, but we're going to find a way to still be able to appreciate and embrace the diversity of our community.
Fort Lauderdale leaders turning out on a hot Saturday morning to dedicate the Rainbow Circle of Love on A1A across from Sebastian Beach. This comes as a countermove to Ron DeSantis and his fascist minions who ordered rainbow crosswalks removed for safety reasons. For many, today feels like a win.
This is a very important moment for us. These have been very challenging times for all of us, but I'm so proud to be a part of a city that is always welcoming, that is always inclusive, and basically says to everyone, we value you, and we respect you, and we honor you.
The circle sits on private land in front of the Celine condominiums, meaning the state can't accuse the city of being diverse or inclusive. This sits about 50 feet away from a laminate of the Progressive Pride flag, which was never meant to be a permanent installation.
I first met you 4 years ago this week when we put in the street decoration of the Progress flag that's just over our shoulder.
Correct.
Ever since then, 4 years, it seems like we've been on our heels, fighting back. Today seems like a step forward. What does this mean for you?
What this means for our community is that we are still going to embrace the diversity of the LGBT culture, as we will every culture that exists in our city, whether it be African American, whether it be Irish, Jewish, Indian. This is Pride Month, and this is an opportunity for this city, our community, to step up and say, we support this community.
I love it. It's beautiful, and all those speeches were very kind words, but a long way of saying, suck it, fascists. We win today, and we're going to continue to win. At Sebastian Beach in Fort Lauderdale, I'm John Hayden.
Suck it, fascist! Suck it! Suck it, fascist! Suck it! Thank you so much for your reporting, John Hayden. You are always covering the stories that are important to us and to our community, and we still make fun of you for it.
Oh, I wouldn't have it any other way.
You know what I mean? Because I love how, in Spanish we have a saying, no tienes pelos en la lengua. That means you have no hairs on your tongue. And that means that you will say what needs to be said no matter what, representing all of us while doing it. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And I definitely want to go check out this new addition to our community. Though.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. It's right there at the gay beach, Sebastian Beach. And this along with Miami Beach, where they salvaged their rainbow crosswalk rubble literally and relayed it a few feet away. St. Pete put their city hall steps in rainbow light. We're telling them to F off. We're finding ways around this. We shouldn't have to, but we are. Yeah. And we're winning. And we're going to keep winning.
Well, and sources say that location was donated to the city by someone, by an ally, not even a community member.
Yeah, the people who own the Celine condominiums right behind it. They technically they didn't donate it. They still own it. So that way it can't be city property, which the Republicans can then come in and say, hey, over.
Got it.
So it's the perfect, they call it a P3 partnership, public-private partnership. This is exactly what they're talking about.
The PPP partnership.
Well, PPP.
I
We're
love
just
it.
getting smarter and smarter,
Right?
Isn't it a great way to just to reinvent things and just to get the message out there? It's fantastic.
Right?
Absolutely.
Well, make sure you follow John Hayden and all his reporter at Greater Wilton Manors. You can find him on Facebook and also on YouTube.
I'm Kevin Lee, and let's queer up faith. Messages of hope and healing as Cardinal addresses LGBTQ plus Catholic Conference. Around 500 people gathered at Georgetown University's historic Gaston Hall for the Outreach 2026 conference, making 5 years of the LGBTQ plus Catholic ministry founded by Jesuit Father James Martin. The highlight of the 3-day walking side-by-side gathering was a Saturday vigil mass celebrated by Cardinal Robert McElroy of Washington. In a remarkably candid homily, Cardinal McElroy acknowledged that the Catholic Church has frequently wounded the LGBTQ plus community through judgmentalism and exclusion. However, the Cardinal pointed to a message of great hope for pastoral care, highlighting recent shift updates under Pope Leo XIV, which emphasizes a more compassionate pastoral approach over rigid focuses on sexual morality. Conference organizers say the event provided a critical space for LGBTQ plus laypeople, theologians, and families to experience radical welcome and spiritual healing within their faith. This is truly a beautiful story. It does have a glimmer of positive news to it, which I like.
A glimmer.
A glimmer, and I that's my pontificating there. I say it's a glimmer because, you know, how many times have we had political figures, religious figures, social figures, city figures who will say one thing and do another, say one thing and not follow through. And it really, I want to see, you know, my background, you all know, is I'm an ordained metaphysical minister. I went through a 4-year seminary. And in my church religion, in our church seminary, half of the ministers that trained us and taught us were gay. So it was never an issue for us. So it was a very welcoming, safe environment for me. I was very lucky. But I think it's there's still a lot of hypocrisy taking place in a lot of world religions, not just Catholicism. And, you know, one thing is said, one thing is done. There's things not said, even though it's obvious. And there's a lot of manipulation going on. So that's why I say a glimmer of positive news. But let's be clear, glimmering words are one thing, action is another, right? And I say that the Vatican really needs to rework their position on the definition of marriage to begin with, and along with their scriptural interpretation. That's the most important thing if we're going to try to get to a place where we have a rainbow circle of love around the planet. Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of it is, and I appreciate and I see those same glimmers, but for a lot of Catholics, it's just too little too late.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it is. I mean, now, that said, the fact that this was the Cardinal from Washington, D.C. says a lot because I think 2 predecessors ago was Cardinal McCarrick, who was disgraced in the church molestation, and he was like unrepentant. And Catholics, one of their main things to do is be repentant, and Hooker was not. So, but the fact that it's coming from this particular seat says a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to appreciate it. But I think I'm still going to be sleeping in on Sundays.
Of course. I mean, listen, when church leaders admit they've caused harm, that's not weakness, that's growth, okay? So even if it's a glimmer of growth, Kevin, you know, because imagine that, accountability in 2026, you know?
Wow.
Healing starts when institutions stop pretending that the wound didn't exist or doesn't exist or people were not harmed.
You know,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, you know, I'm speaking from a personal recent experience with the Catholic Church. I was just up with my family for a funeral and I was planning the service. And it was my first time dealing with a Catholic church because I didn't know anything about it in terms of Mass and how it was all performed and put together. And so, you know, in my family, I kind of stick out like a sore thumb, like he's the gay guy, you know, representative.
Ditto.
So I come walking in with my briefcase and just be like, so how are we going to do this? You know, so gay all over the place. But I will tell you, the Monsignor at the church was absolutely wonderful and very welcoming. I think he sensed exactly who I was.
Yes.
And for me, you know, experiencing, you know, that other behavior that was not very nice to me in the Catholic Church, it
Yes.
kind of gave me a little bit of hope in terms of, maybe it's because I was grieving, I don't know. But it was in a spot where I needed to just feel like I was okay, and he allowed me that space. So, hopefully we are starting to see more of these glimmers,
Not all Catholic people are awful. Not
Right.
all
No, of course.
monsignors hate us. You know what I mean? Like,
So,
the glimmer of hope.
But I went into this with the expectation, like, you know what, they're just not going to want to hear from me. They're going to
Yes.
want to do this. And I just had all of these expectations.
I've
and I was
experienced those
completely
same
wrong.
fears, right?
I have a
last
different,
comment,
I have a
Trini.
different take on it. Like,
Of course you
I
do.
don't think that it's a glimmer. I think it's a fire. I have been so impressed with the Catholic Church in the past year with this new Pope, right? Because when I was a kid, I grew up Southern Baptist, and I was in ministry up until I was about 28 years old. And, and the Catholic Church was always, the defining rule of, like, what is right and wrong and gay and straight and all that kind of stuff. And I don't subscribe to them. I don't subscribe to any religion. So the fact that they still say that marriage is, wrong, whatever, they're going to be that way, just like so many of the other major world religions are. But as far as how they're moving forward, and I never thought I'd see the day where the Pope was against the American Republican white Christian nationalist group, like sparring. And I'm
But
looking
this is
at
the first time the Pope is also American from Chicago. I mean,
but that's great. That's more than a glimmer for me, that he's getting publicly and going to the Vatican and saying things against this administration
and hanging out with Bad Bunny.
Huh?
Hanging out with Bad Bunny, because he did. He did.
I saw that.
And I remember saying, when I was here, and what he mentioned there, this Cardinal, I think it was, who made that quote, was that I remember as a kid saying, murder is bad. We think, like, somebody comes into your house and murders you. Depictions of murder on television we see all the time. But the idea that, like, you see a boy kiss a boy and it's like, And I would always ask the question, I'm like, why would you rank this sin above this sin? Like, why would being gay be here, and, like, murder and rape and all of this here you can let your kids see, but this is the worst thing? And the answer was always like, I don't really have a good answer for that, and I feel like they're coming to terms with that, even though they feel like it's a sin. It's like, why would we put this over this or this or this? And actually, this sin is down here.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that switch is happening, and I feel much better about that.
They've got a long way to go, my
They have a
friend.
long
So
way
I
to
don't know
go,
why
but-
you're all excited about that. Let's
I
talk
know.
to all the people that they freaking molested and all the, the priests that they've had to move to other locations. Please.
Hey, that's the
Please,
past. I'm
Trini.
saying
That's
moving
the
forward.
past, but it still happened. Like, you know what I mean? A glimmer, bitch. They get a glimmer. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Protecting Privacy. EFF launches Season 2 of LGBT Digital Rights Campaign. The Electronic Frontier Foundation is launching the second season of its LGBTQ&A Digital Safety Initiative. Debuting last year on TikTok and Instagram accounts of EFF, the project provides a direct crowdsourced lifeline for LGBTQ plus individuals facing online censorship, doxing, or targeted surveillance. This season, users can also submit on Reddit or even message the EFF anonymously on its website. Users submit pressing digital rights questions regarding dating app safety, data privacy, and online harassment. EFF experts will provide actionable guidance throughout the month, helping vulnerable users protect their identities and maintain total control over their personal digital footprints. Okay. Well, every queer person should know digital safety is also self-care. Your data is valuable, your privacy matters, and your ex doesn't need to know your location. Plain and simple. In 2026, protecting your identity online is as important as locking your front door. And everybody should feel that way.
Absolutely.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up sports. Pressure mounts on FIFA over Seattle World Cup Pride match. Nearly 125,000 people have signed an online petition demanding that FIFA remove the LGBTQ plus Pride match branding from its upcoming June 26th World Cup game between Egypt and Iran. The Egyptian and Iranian football federations formally protested to FIFA, arguing the designation directly violates their cultural, religious, and social values. They cite FIFA's own statutes mandating political and social neutrality. The Citizen Go petition says sports should remain unifying neutral ground, while the local Seattle host committee is moving forward with its planned celebrations outside the venue. FIFA faces a delicate diplomatic balancing act over rainbow flag allowances inside the stadium for the high-stakes match. Well, 125,000 versus 8 billion people in the world, it's not much.
Imagine if they put that energy into ending hunger.
Right.
All right?
Yes.
Or fixing potholes in Seattle.
Yeah. Well, yeah. 4 years ago, the World Cup was in, I believe the host country was Qatar. And we weren't allowed to do outside the stadium. We couldn't go around in our rainbow flags hanging off of us and stuff like that. So, I mean, suck it up, Buttercup.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the world view. Pride amid the sirens as thousands march for equality in Kyiv. An estimated 5,000 participants took to the streets for the largest Kyiv Pride March since Russia invaded in 2022. Walking under the slogan, "Our families are part of Ukraine," activists, international diplomats, and a prominent contingent of LGBTQ plus military veterans marched to demand legal civil partnerships. The issue has taken on life or death urgency during the conflict, as same-sex partners of fallen or wounded soldiers still lack basic state rights, such as medical decision-making or inheritance. The demonstration was cut short after just 2 hours when an air raid alert flashed across the capital. Police and organizers ushered the crowd into nearby metro station bomb shelters as explosions from air defense systems echoed above. No major injuries were reported. When I first saw this headline, I immediately thought, like, don't they have bigger fish to fry with, a war going on that, they're walking around with a pride march and all that stuff. But then the other part of it is that their partners are dying, leaving them in really dire situations, and I mean, I remember the American stories that were happening here before gay marriage was legal, or even the domestic partnerships, and how people would be living together for 40, 50 years. And then when one of them dies and the house was in their ownership, the name of the other person, they're left with nothing, for the
still happens today, baby, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. And so it really is like just one of those things that you just don't think about unless you're in the other country and understanding like what it's like to live in some other place,
Right? Yeah.
So it's really important,
And crazy because, we were just bitching about how it rained on our parade, right? There was literally flying rockets over these people's heads and they still wanted to continue to march for their equality. Like,
it's inspiring.
Wow.
They're fighting for their right to glimmer, right? And so, one of my good friends is from Ukraine, Vladimir, and he was telling me recently that he left because of safety reasons. He feared for his life. And it wasn't from the war, it was from the political system, the government. And he said the nation is very anti-LGBTQ, there a lot of discrimination. It's very hostile. There's a lot of these investigations that take place to out you and to find you. And he said it's a very unwelcoming country, and he will never go back, he says. Very interesting.
Wow.
But I'm proud of them for standing up because it is, like we were complaining about rain, but yet there were missiles flying over the city of Kyiv, and they still were willing to go out there and fight for their right.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the Black community. New short film honors legendary Detroit Black LGBTQ plus safe space. Detroit filmmaker Chris Impact Sutton directed the movie Heaven in Detroit, a sanctuary of sound. The movie pays homage to Club Heaven, an underground after-hours spot that operated on Woodward Avenue from 1984 to 1994. The film follows a grieving young man who finds comfort and chosen family on the club's final night. Spaces like Club Heaven provide vital refuge. Driven primarily by Black queer Detroiters, the film honors the legacy of pioneers, including the late DJ Ken Collier. The film is premiering in Detroit venues, with wider distribution still being worked out. Now, for more details, you can visit heavenindetroit.com. I have not gotten to see this film yet. I haven't even been able to watch. I think we were playing the trailer there. I haven't been able to see it yet, but it makes me very excited. I lived in Michigan for 6+ years on the other side of the state, but whenever we could get over to Detroit, that city gets so maligned, but is such an awesome place. So I'm glad to see filmmakers succeeding.
And this is our history. You know,
Yes.
queer history isn't just
Saving
parades
history.
and parties.
Yep.
There are places like Club Heaven that were safe spaces for people to be who they are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember being a young, a young queer kid and just feeling only safe at Twist nightclub on South Beach,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, same thing. Club Heaven is their Club Twist. So more movies like this, please.
Absolutely.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. A turning point for love. Remembering the victory over DOMA. Friday, June 26, marks the 13-year anniversary of the Supreme Court's landmark ruling in United States versus Windsor, which struck down Section 3 of the Defense of Marriage Act. Passed in 1996, DOMA had federally defined marriage strictly as the union between one man and one woman, denying legally married same-sex couples vital federal benefits ranging from Social Security survival payouts to joint tax filings. The High Court's 5-4 decision ruled the federal ban unconstitutional, declaring that it imposed a disadvantage and a stigma on same-sex couples. Legal experts say the ruling laid the direct legal groundwork for the total legalization of marriage equality nationwide just 2 years later. This is it's amazing to me, just this concept of that there could be benefits denied. And, I've had experiences in healthcare where my patients, I had gay patients, and one was dying, right? My patient was dying. And the partner who they'd been with, we just spoke about this, for many, many, many years. The family hadn't even been in the picture, but the family had more rights than the partner of 40 years. And so, this whole legalization of a marriage concept, it really is just about making sure that we have, well, I don't really know what else to say about that.
No, and that's fine. I mean, DOMA didn't just deny marriage, it really denied dignity.
Yeah.
That's what it did, and Windsor changed that. Let's remember, marriage equality didn't arrive because people were comfortable. It arrived because brave folks refused to accept being treated as second-class citizens any longer. I mean, and that's the real love story right there.
Yep. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza. Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight, and our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor, Faye. What? And I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including Edward Otto Zelke, Trinidadi, Kevin Lee. John, you have any final words you want to tell our people?
I have a hairy tongue.
We will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you a good night.